Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming to today's webinar. I know it's just a weird week for everyone just in the middle of the holidays, so I really appreciate you coming into learning about Supered. This is a tool that will allow you to streamline your processes and not only learn about how to use it with HubSpot, but I also want to make sure that you guys get the knowledge on Super that you guys need to utilize it for training your employees on any other tools that you guys might be using. So let's get started. Please, if you have any questions in the meeting, just make sure that you add them on the Q&A and not the chat. That way I don't miss them. I recommend that as soon as a question pops up on your mind, just add it in the Q&A box so you don't forget, and I can come back and make sure that I answer. At the end, you guys can also raise your hand if you want to come on the mic and ask the question directly, or maybe you guys are thinking about resolving a certain issue and you're trying to get a solution with Super, so I can help you do that as well. So let's just go ahead and get started. The first thing that I would like for you guys to do, I know that maybe for some people in the room, Supered is a very new tool that you guys might not know very well, but I would love to know what's your intention with this webinar. That way I can take a look at it and make sure that I can come in here and be the most helpful to fix your guys' issues. So I am just going to be taking a few seconds in here to add my intention on the chat, and I recommend that you also do that so we can all know what we're here for. Awesome. So let's go ahead and get started. So Supered is a tool that we utilize here at RBP to train our customers. Whenever we do our HubSpot training, it's usually very long and sometimes draining for some of the employees who haven't used this platform yet. And it can be really hard for them to absorb everything that they need to know in one session. So what Super allows us to do is basically give our customers and their employees the resources to come back and have a library of videos showing them how to utilize the system and why we need to utilize it a certain way. Super gives us a bunch of tools inside of HubSpot, and you'll see here in a little bit, you can also use it on other platforms to just basically give them quick support and quick answers, and it can also help you streamline your workflows and make sure that everyone's following the same process. We want to make sure that we improve the adoption of HubSpot or any other tool that you guys might be using, and that everything is standard for every single one of your team members. So we'll go over all the features that that Super has inside of HubSpot and how we're utilizing them, and also how you can do it with other tools that you guys might be using. So common issues that our businesses are having that we can see when we are onboarding is that onboarding new employees, it's really hard, especially when they're enrolling into a new position. I see this happening a lot with inside sales because inside sales has a lot of responsibilities within HubSpot, and their role is key for sales to succeed, and making sure that they're just following the right process is very, very important. Sometimes if they don't have the tools, they're going to be taking longer to follow an easy process if they have to just remember at the top of their mind on how to enter a contact, how to generate a deal, what's the next step after that, how to correctly fill out a playbook. So those are some of the things that we've seen before. Lack of a standardization on how to enter the leads, for example. It's very, very common. Maybe they are not setting the leads as marketing contacts. Later on, when we're trying to retarget them, we cannot even send them marketing emails because they were not following the correct process. Sometimes also inside sales and production can just be, there can be friction in that handoff because they don't know how to do that handoff correctly. So following a process for inside sales and then do a handoff and then making sure that production also know what's their next step, it's very, very important, especially when we are trying to schedule production. There can be a lot of issues right there that can delay the job and have the customer be frustrated with us. So yeah, basically what we've learned is that the lack of a standardization leads to errors and wasted effort, because maybe you're going to be trying to figure out for an hour how is the right way to generate a deal because you forgot how to do it on the training. So those are the issues that we are trying to solve with Superbird. So one of the very cool features that Superbird has is that it'll allow us to create a homepage for our users. For example, on the image here, you guys can see our mission control. If you're already an existing client with us, this will be very familiar to you guys. We basically added the main things that you need to get access to and for you to access them quickly. We sent a bunch of resources on Production Octopus, on the inside and outside sales methodology, on organization, calculators, and sometimes, most of the times, those emails get lost. I'm sure people who have already been onboarded have felt that, hey, I just want to see the org chart that you guys shared 3 months ago. I cannot find it on my email. Those are very, very important things that people are using at all times, and you just want to make sure that you have them in hand. So basically, this homepage is a quick access to click on those resources that you will need most of the time. So I like to think them as my bookmark for my systems. The cool thing about this is that those bookmarks will go into every single one of your users. So I know that I like to mark my calendar, my email, etc. And this way, we can just put all the links that your employees will need in here. So that's a way to use that homepage screen for your clients. The way that we use it is that we link them to inside and outside sales resources, to my link, for example. I'm a CSM, so I want to make sure that if my customers are having an issue, they have a quick access to look at my calendar and book a time with me. We also send them to the important calls that they need to be in. If you're a platform customers or platform Q&As that happen on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I want to make sure that you have quick access to those and that they're always on top on there, because sometimes I've even had customers being like, hey, I haven't seen my platform Q&As on my calendar for a month. You sometimes need to re-enroll to see the future invites. So I want to make sure that you have those resources available for you. That saves me time from having to enroll you myself or having to send you the email every so often when you need to re-enroll. But it will be very easy for you to see, oh, I don't see next week's platform. I need to re-enroll. So I am going to quickly click on that link and make sure that I do that. We also at RBP added the submit a ticket button, which honestly, sometimes I know that this has happened to most of you. Maybe something is not working on the system and your CSM might be on a call doing a 3-hour training and there's something urgent that needs to be fixed, right? So instead of going to your CSM and being like, hey Jeanette, my deals are not generating, I think there's a bug, you can just quickly go ahead and submit a ticket from that homepage, and that ticket will go directly to our developers for a quick solution instead of having to wait for me to go ahead and talk to the developers to fix your issue. So that's another way that we, our CSMs, are using Supered to save time for us and our customers, and to make sure that they're getting a quick answer and that they're getting the resources that they need to move through their system. Another thing that I really like to add in here is just add or pin the main SOPs to our homepage. For example, we have our platform SOP, which is basically an SOP of, I think, over 80 steps that will walk you through from creating a contact until closing the deal. Whenever we have our customers starting, that SOP is gold because they will know exactly what button they need to click in and what's the next step. Once you feel more comfortable with the system, you might not need that SOP anymore, but while you are on that training period, that is very important for you to have these important resources available for you. If you watch a certain card very often, for example, we have cards, and I'll show you guys here in a little bit, explaining how the reports work or how certain dashboards are organized, and we basically go over what we're trying to accomplish with each dashboard. That's a dashboard that you open up very frequently, or if you want to have that information in there, we also have our recently viewed cards, so you can quickly go ahead and access those in there. You can also see the most updated updates, and basically I'll also show you here in a bit, but you can do pop-ups doing updates about the system. Hey guys, now we need to enter a contact maybe a different way. That way you can make sure that everyone in your company knows a new correct way to add a contact. You can also add them on the home screen, on the homepage, for them to check how to do that. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do right now is, I know that I show you this picture, but I wanna show you how it looks like and action. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you our Supered. So there's multiple ways that you can access our homepage. So let me quickly go there and share the right screen. So whenever you are logging into Supered, you are going to be looking at something like this. Oops. Okay, so this is your Supered homepage. What I usually like to do is, whenever I'm training my clients, is making sure that they accept the invite the right way, and this is the first thing that they're going to be seeing. So like I mentioned, you're going to be seeing this mission control menu. It's clickable. We created this with Canva, and basically we made each one of these icons clickable so they can see it in a very nice and clean way. You guys can also, so for example, if you guys have an HR folder with resources that you need your employees to have access, maybe you want to send them to a spreadsheet where they track certain stuff, or you want to send them to your if you guys have certain procedures for HR, how to ask for time off, I recommend that you put them on Supered, because same that we do it with our clients, they will be able to quickly access your internal documents. So very similar to this, you would just go to edit home here, and you can do multiple things here. You can add a panel. I like to do a contact panel. And right here, you can add a code. So for example, the best way to do this, and the way that I recommend you to do this, is creating a design on Canva, adding links to that design so it can take them to a certain document or a certain drive folder, and then grabbing the code from that design on Canva and pasting it here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you with an existing one that we made. So you can come here and edit your existing images or designs. If I go here, you guys will see that I added the link. Canva has a quick link that you can add to add the design in or embed it. So basically we quickly come here, we add the link, we embed the card or the design, and you'll see this. You will just save. It's not letting me save because it's already here. But anytime that you make a change on your Canva design, let's say that you change the link to the HR drive folder, you move it to another folder, you want to use another system, maybe any like Dropbox or anything like that, you can quickly make the change on Canva, and the Canva design will reflect it on this embedded card. So that's what's cool about this. So for all of your employees, you can have a card like this that can be quickly updated on Canva, and it will update for everyone else in your team. So for example, if we update, if I update my link, so if I come here and I click on this is going to take you to my HubSpot link for you guys to book time with me. Let's say that I want to change this link or move it to any other platform. I go to Canva, I update my link, and it will reflect in here. So if you guys have any ideas on on what resources to add and how to add them, you can also contact me directly. I'll put my email on the chat here, or if anyone from my teammates can add my email in here, if you put them on the chat, just so you guys can contact me. I can help you customize this to your liking. It's very easy, and you can make it standard for all your employees. So they won't only see the HubSpot resources, they will also see your internal resources. And that's important because that will help them adopt, not only with HubSpot, but sometimes I come here and I see that people are not really utilizing the cards or not utilizing the resources. I get emails every day. Hey, Jeanette, can you send me that org chart again that you sent me 3 weeks ago? They can come in here and find it on this list of resources. So sometimes we are not utilizing the right tools. We just want to make sure that we put stuff in there that will be used by our employees so they can get the adoption. So maybe you put a link in here to request PTO. They will know how to request PTO. So I recommend that you do any important links like that will allow them to adopt better to this system. So this is a homepage. You can add a bunch of things in here. Basically anything that you can think of, you can link in here. So if you need anything specific, let me know and I'll show you how. Okay, so going back to the next feature, let me go to my presentation. Well, these are just some practical ways on how to use a homepage, HR, links to payroll, links to onboarding guides, for example, access to see how to request PTO, handbox, training resources, all of that can be added in there. You can also add escalation protocols. This is something that, for example, whoever is taking care of your phone can take a look at in there and be like, okay, I need to transfer this call to production. Or maybe I cannot resolve this. I need to send this to my office manager or whoever needs to handle the call. I will highly recommend putting some time into creating those manuals for them and just doing even a frequently asked questions list that you know you're getting from your customers, just creating a card or just putting on the homepage for whoever is answering the phone. So basically just think about this as a huge folder with all the knowledge resources that you have internally to go into one tool that will allow you to see everything in here. You can also link your company's social media platforms in case someone gives you a call. Hey, I need this quick link. You can quickly copy and paste that into the system or the main folder to access any information. For production, this is also a good idea just to, sometimes they need to access some specific websites to pull permits or to maybe ask for a personal number, or for example, you can add those quick links in there for them to make it easier for them. They probably and most likely will have those bookmarks somewhere, but if you can just standardize what are the links that need to be bookmarked for production, that will be really valuable just to add them into that homepage. how to check material inventories, or how to submit invoices for suppliers. All of those videos and resources can go in here. Now, the next feature that I want to talk to you guys about is just our in-context support, which are basically our lightning bolts that if you already have a platform with us or even in Atlas, you will see some lightning bolts on the side of some keywords. How this is helpful is that, again, we use it for when we are training a new company. So basically, maybe they're just walking through it and they want to create a contact. We want to make it really easy for them to just quickly come here to HubSpot, work on the platform, just coming in here, and I'm going to quickly refresh this so I can show you. So let's say that, okay, they're starting the process and they want to create a contact. They're seeing a bunch of information in here. Sometimes people might not be, okay, I see create a contact here, so I'm just gonna click on it. What do I need to do next? So this can be really, really easy to do. But for example, let's say that you want a very specific question to be answered every time, or you want to make sure that I'm just going to be doing a test in here. Let's say that you want to make sure that every single lead is entered as a marketing contact, and maybe they're not doing that. On here, you're gonna have a link to a video showing you an SOP on how to enter the contact and what's the right way to enter a contact. That way, if they say, well, I didn't know that I had to do that, you have the resource in here. They have all the tools that they need in order to enter the contact correctly. If you have a data admin already on your team, these are the resources that they can use to make sure that everyone's entering the data correctly. For example, let's say that you also, because a lot of our people that I train sometimes are like, oh, but like, what if I don't want to see all of this list of people in here? I just want to see people who are coming from Facebook, for example. You guys can come to advanced filters and you'll have a video in here showing you how to filter by the advanced filters. So you have an SOP showing you how to do that. Or let's say that you want to know, oh, who should the contact owner be? Is that the person who enters the lead into the system? Is that the person who is in charge to call them back to try to book an appointment? Is that an inside sales? You quickly come in here and you'll get a video of Adam explaining you who the contact owner should be. So these are very common questions that we get on the first weeks of training. These questions, most of them, 90% of the questions that I get can be answered by clicking on the lightning bolts or coming into here and look for my question on my base. Or going to the folders, maybe we're just starting to use Arrivy, for example, and you want to learn more about it. You can quickly come in here and see how to do a change order on Arrivy, how to book an appointment with Arrivy. You guys can, if you don't want to see it in here on the side, you can come in here and open it up right here. You'll have videos answering questions for you. So this in context feature, I really like because, I mean, you're already right here. You need to know how to enter a contact. You don't have to come in here, search for the card, etc. Just click on it here and it's already made for you. Keep in mind that how we build these is that we search for certain keywords on the system and we add the video. So if you guys want to do this for your end, so for example, let's say that you guys are using a measurement tool online and you want to show your employees how to request for the measurements, or if you're doing this on outside of Sumo Quote, what you can do is come to Supert. So I'm going to basically show you how to do this. So I'm going to copy a video. I'm actually going to be using this Dave video that I see here for this example. You will basically just need to copy this video. You guys can use Loom or Vidyard or any other tool that you use for doing screen share videos. And then you can come into your base let's say that this is a new folder for, I'm going to say roofer. So in this folder, I'm going to add all the roofer related content. So I will come in here and I will add on my little plus button, and I can add a card. And I'm going to do how to order on roofer. So that's gonna be the title of my video. I wanna make sure that I make it very clear about what question is going to be answered on the video. And then I like to use the editor 1.0 just because I find it easier, but both of them are good. So basically I'll just go in here and I'm going to embed a video. I'm going to add the link and I'm going to save it. Right now, I'm going to click on create, and that will create your card. So right now we have the roofer folder with a card that lives in there. So now that we have our card created, what we can do is basically come here and do a trigger. A trigger means that we're basically going to show this card and a certain keyword on the system. So on this one, since this is an example, let's say that on roofer, I want to trigger the word measurement or order measurement, for example. I'm going to use a contact word instead just for this example. So what this is going to do is that Supert is going to be looking for the words contact or the word contacts, and it's going to add my video on the side. So I'm gonna go back here. I'm going to create a trigger. I'm going to ask it to look for contacts. And I'm going to embed this card. You guys, if you want to do your internal cards going over any other platforms that are not HubSpot or even HubSpot, but you want to make sure that you know which are the cards that we created or the ones that you guys created, you can change the lightning bolt. So I'm going to do a start in this case. You guys can change the visibility. So let's say that you only want certain user to have access to this one. This is just my test account. So I'm just going to make sure that sandbox, actually I'm gonna say all users, so I don't have any issues showing you this. You guys can just limit this to only show on HubSpot. I recommend that if you're gonna do any other website, just do any and save the trigger. So if I come back to HubSpot and I refresh, I should be looking a star right here. And if I click on it, I'll see my how to order measurements on roofer. Obviously the words doesn't have to do anything with the video, but it was just the purpose for this video, just to show you how easy you can make sure that with any keywords, you get a video explaining how to work through it. So as you guys can see, it's very easy. Please, if you guys have any questions on any of these things that I'm showing you, remember to add them to the chat so I can come back and teach you how to do this. So yeah, that is how we do that. And that way we just make sure that anyone utilizing the system is like, well, I didn't do it because I don't know how to do it. They will know that how to do it because they have it right there. And they can also look it up on the library, which is the next feature that I want to show you. So remember how I created the roofer folder? I can come in here, open this up and see all the resources that I have on roofer. And I can open the card like this and watch the video. So you guys can organize this, and let's say that you guys have a certain way to submit your request for PTO. You guys can also do an internal folder right here or be like, oh, this is my HR folder, and this is how you're going to request PTO, for example. Or this is the library of our subcontractors. These are all the phone numbers, and this is when you will contact each one of them. Or for the zip code, you can talk to the subcontractor, and this is their phone number. So you guys can add a bunch of resources here on the side. My favorite ones that we've recently created are the platform process in here. we have a very clear way of showing you why this procedure needs to be followed correctly. I've encountered so many times in our trainings when we're doing the introduction to this new system, people are so used to maybe handling a lead a certain way or entering a lead a certain way. And they're like, well, I can do it this way still and not follow your process. Here, they will have exactly why they need to do it a certain way and what's going to happen if the procedure is not followed correctly. So it's not just a matter of making it comfortable for your employees to enter a contract or a lead, which will actually be more comfortable if they follow the process, but we also want to show them why that could affect the processes of other people involved. So I really like these resources that they can come in here and learn, not only with the training that we do showing them how to use the system, but also, hey, this is why you need to do it this way, and this is how it's going to be beneficial for everyone. We also have all of these explainers on the dashboards and reports, which also are some of my favorites, and I know some of my customers' favorites, because it tells you exactly what you want to do. This is what you want to accomplish in your company. And it's basically going to show you exactly what are the things that we're tracking on that report so that you understand how to read that report. This is also available for you guys. So anything that we've shared with you on training will be in here. So anytime we'll share the recordings with you of our individual trainings that we've had, but all the resources will be here. And if you guys want to add more resources for tools that you're utilizing that might be not part of HubSpot and Sumo Code and Arrivy, you guys can also do that as well, just like I showed you, creating folders and creating new cards. We also have another feature that I really, really, really like, and that is our process rules. Our process rules are very important because that will force people to read what they need to read, but also it will give them resources right there for example, how to handle objections. And this is my favorite example to give because I know a lot of our clients have really enjoyed this. Most of our clients in the transition to getting platform are barely just hiring inside sales, are barely just moving to this new methodology. And sometimes inside sales are just learning this role. Maybe they're just learning about roofing. And we want to make sure that we give them all the right tools that they need in order to do their jobs correctly. So we not only give them specific training on inside sales and how it works and how it should look like and how they need to move inside the system for them to do a great follow-up and make more sales and also make sure that the data is in the system correctly. But we also give them these very, very cool tools. So for those who already have platform, you will be familiar with our CSM audit view. The CSM audit view is basically we gather all the open deals that we have under inspection complete and contract sent. So these are the people that we need to follow up with. These are the people that we need to call. We want to make sure that we know how to handle those calls. So what we ask is basically we have here on the list the deal name, when we think we're going to be closing this deal, how much we are going to be closing it for, or at least what is our expectation, why we haven't closed it yet, which is the objection, and what's my next step to accomplish to close the sale and when I'm going to be doing it. We implemented some process rules for this, for inside sales to have this as an easier task. Right now, we have a demo account. We only have 6 records, but some people will have over 50 records in this list. So it can be really overwhelming for inside sales to come here and have to do 50 follow-ups. As soon as they start filling out the list, it just gets easier. But it's important that we gather the customer objection in this case. And what we did for this, and to make it easier for them to handle those objections, is that we made a process rule, and I'll show you in a minute how that gets built. But basically, we're going to grab keywords from here. So for example, I have my Jeanette test in here. She wants to wait until next spring to replace her roof. In this specific process rule, I asked Super to look for the word spring or winter in the customer objection property. And if that happens, I want to make sure that I have a box right here telling my insight sales, hey, click in here. I have exactly what you need to tell this customer to close a deal. They can come here and open it on the sidebar, and we added a script telling them how to handle this lead. So if they said, I'll wait until spring or fall, if the roof can wait, this is what you're going to tell them. If the roof can't wait, this is what you're going to tell them. So it gets really easy for them because they literally just need to read off the script. If they don't want to do that, they can just come into Subert, read through all the scripts, and come up with talking points and be prepared for when they're doing the follow-up. So let's say that my next step is just to call them in a week just to follow up with them, and I already know that they want to wait until spring. I can just get them on the phone, open this up, and follow this. So it makes it really, really easy for them to follow up because we already know what's happening, and we have this card right here. Another way that we can utilize these process rules, let's say that, for example, we have here this little box thing I want to know. Let's say that you want to know how, like, for example, this person in the pipeline needs a permit because I need to order permits for the zip code 12345 only. So while I'm on the pipeline, which will, I think basically will be the ticket pipeline instead, you guys can come in here and be like, okay, out of these 19 jobs, I want to know which one of these need a permit. What we're going to be doing is that we're going to create a process rule. So I'm going to go back to Subert, and I'm going to go to processes right here. I'm going to create a rule, and I'm going to select the object. So in this case, this is a production thing. So I'm going to go into the ticket side. If you're already a platform user, you'll know that we handle everything production related under the ticket. So on the pipeline for the production or the tickets, I want to know what jobs need a permit. I want to mark this as a warning. Error is red, warning is yellow, positive is green, just so you know. So I'm going to do a warning that this deal needs a permit, for example. So in this little box, it's going to show us needs a permit. So I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to describe my my rule text just so I know what's going on. So I'm going to say this ticket needs to have and if you guys have a card on how to request a permit, you guys can link it here and it will show them exactly how to do it. I'm not going to link a card because we don't have one for those, but then we'll go into audience. So I want to make sure that everyone sees this, or maybe I can just select the production coordinator. In this case, I'll do all users so I can see it. So here you can add filters. So let's say that I want to know if the zip code, or actually, let me change that. Or if you guys are doing it by city, you can also do that. I think it's postal code. So I want to make sure that if the postal code is 12345, or you can add all the list of all the zip codes. In this case, I don't really think that I have a zip code, or actually, I think I do have 12345. So I'm going to run that as a test. So I'm going to do that, and I am going to go ahead and save the rule. So what this is going to do is that if I come here and I have a ticket with the zip code 12345, so Clark Kent has that, it's going to show me needs a permit. So it makes it really easy for whoever is doing production just to quickly come here and filter through the ones that do need a permit. You can also filter by the stage. So we have one here on installation complete that has a needs a permit. If they already have a permit, what we can also do is that we can create a property. Actually, I think we already have that, but we can be like, okay, on the filters right here, we can edit them and add another group of filters and be like, let me see if this one has a permit. It doesn't have this, but basically we can filter, hey, if this one has permit order yes, exclude them. So it won't show that little tag right there. But this is just an idea of what you guys can do to utilize the process rules. As you can see, it really helps give you a visual of, hey, I need to do this right here. This is an action item. It's in yellow, so this is something that I need to do. You guys can organize this however you like and add as many process rules as you like. There's a way to do it in HubSpot, but I found that Super has more properties that can be filtered. So I recommend taking a look at the process rules inside of Super and not HubSpot, just because it has more options to do. Now, the next thing that I want to show you guys, so as you can see, it has a lot of features, but if they're not being used, you just spent a bunch of time in here going through and building all of this stuff for your employees or whoever is using the platform to have an easier time adapting. But if they're not doing it, then we need to make sure that we track who's not doing it and we have the data to basically tell them, hey, you're not following the process correctly, your leads are not being entered correctly, and I see that you're not training yourself either. Again, we give them all the training in the world on those sessions and that training period, but it's very hard for them to remember every single thing. But if they're not coming in here and reading through the cards and trying to learn about how this works, it's not going to work, and you want to make sure that you have the right people in place. So if we go to analytics, we can actually see which are the cards that are being looked for the most, the ones that are being opened up the most, who is actually looking. For example, we only have one user in here, so this is not working, but you can filter. So let's say that I want to see in the last 3 months how many cards have been used and what's the utilization rate. You can also come in here and see where they are. So when we are onboarding you guys, I usually send an email explaining how to do this. So it's very important that you guys know that this extension only works with Google. So for example, if you sent your employees, hey, everyone needs to have Super in place on your computer, you can come in here and see who actually accepted the invite, but maybe they don't have the extension. So that way you'll know that they're not having this very cool view of the lightning bolts and making sure that they can quickly come here and open up knowledge base articles. So here you can be like, okay, you're not adapting because you're not accepting the invite, for example. The data admin maybe will be the person seeing these errors, and this is a tool for them to come and see what's going on. The sales manager can also come in here and see what's going on, why the things are not being done the right way. You guys can see the name of everyone and see where they are in the process. Let's say that you also see that you have someone searching for a specific term. Again, this is just a test one. So here you can see like, hey, people are trying to search for permits, for example. That's one card that we don't have. People want to know how to enter a permit or request permits. So that way you can come in here, see the data and be like, okay, we need to work on a permit SOP. And that will make the process better for our employees to see how to do these things. I'm gonna go ahead and show you on my presentation how the utilization chart works in here. So we'll see a list of people and where they are. So you can, whenever you're managing them and being like, hey, how are you feeling with the new system? You can quickly come in here and you can, it's almost 100% accurate. Whoever has less usage will be the person making mistakes and not really liking the system because they don't know how to use it. So this is really valuable information whenever you're starting to implement not only HubSpot, but if you're implementing a new system or a new process or a new platform. It's very important that you are able to track these things. And if you don't have Super, you're basically not going to be able to see if they're actually trying to learn stuff. Especially because we've already created all the resources that you need. And if you want to create more resources, just everything's there for you already. The setup, the analytics, everything to make sure that you track the user activity. So yeah, updates is the last feature that I want to go through with you guys today. Probably if you're already in platform, you've received an update already, but here on the screen, we can see how it looks like. So whenever they open HubSpot, this is what they're going to be doing. On this one, I made an update showing them how to use the battle cards or the objections that I showed you before about, I need to talk to my wife, I want to wait until spring or summer. And basically this way, everyone's on the system knows that this update happened, and you can see who's new the update, how many times, and who already completed watching this training. So some fun ways that you guys can also use updates, not only on processes and systems or anything like that. I think a very fun way to add them is to create updates for your employees' birthdays. So anytime someone comes into HubSpot in the morning, they can be like, hey, today's Jeanette's birthday, or maybe if you guys have a New Year's party, you guys can also do the update in there. So it's not only for all of these technical stuff, you guys can also use that as a resource of communication with your team internally. And yeah, that's basically some of the things. Those are basically some of the things that you can accomplish with Super that will help you internally. You also saw how we use it, our RVP, with our clients. And I would love to know if you guys have any questions or anything that you might think can help you guys with this. So I think I do have a question in here. So let me open those up. Okay, so Charlie is asking, I'm looking for a good way to track marketing objectives with a new teammate, such as uploading videos that need edited with captions. Will Super be a good place to do this, that we can keep files in places like Google Drive? Yeah, so there's a few ways that you can do this. So for example, you can create a card with all the marketing objections that you guys have. So he can always quickly come here, click on that card and see what the objections are so they can keep them at the top of their screen at all times. And you can also add the link to the Drive folder in which they are going to be sharing these videos. And in case that anyone else from your team needs access to those videos, they will also have that quick resource in there to access the videos as a quick link on the home page, and also as a card showing the marketing objections. I hope that answered. If I didn't answer your question, I can bring you up on the mic, Charlie, if you want to raise your hand. The next question is, can the keywords be pulled from anywhere, such as pointing Super to only look for the input in the contact or having it only search through the deals? Yes, you can also make filters for it to only go into certain places, because for example, sometimes I get triggers or those lightning bolts on my Gmail going to contact or stuff like that. And if I'm on Gmail, those videos are not going to make sense because they're specifically for HubSpot. So when you are creating the card, what you can do is make sure that you filter and exclude any other websites or any other pipelines as well. So it can only be shown in deals only or in tickets only, for example. So yes, that's possible. Joe said, for a new user with our company, how do we add the extension and the lightning bolts to HubSpot? That's a great question. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so Joe, you're an admin on Superd, and what you can do is come here to the Superd homepage on the website, go to invite team member, and if you scroll down, you're gonna see everyone who's on your HubSpot. So this is a very easy way to invite them. So let's see if I can find myself in here. So I'm going to invite myself. You can invite them as admin, meaning that they can invite people, they can add cards, they can delete cards. User, they can only create cards, and I don't think that they can invite people. They can only add new cards, they cannot delete cards. And read-only user is that they cannot create new cards. So I'm just going to invite myself as a user. I'm going to send the invite. I'm gonna go ahead and actually remove this so I can show you guys the whole process. And what that's gonna do is that it's going to send me an email. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to my email and look for that email coming from HubSpot. The email will be coming from Superd. So just keep an eye on that. If you already sent an invite, he's not seeing it, just ask them to look on their spam folder. The thing that they need to do next is click here to get started. After that, I'm already logged in, but after that, it's going to show them the home screen of Superd, which will basically give them, hey, sign up with Google, sign up with HubSpot. Very, very important. If you can, and if you have a Gmail account, always sign up with Google. This is a Google Chrome extension, and it just goes so much smoother if you sign up with Google instead of creating a password or trying to sign up with HubSpot. After they sign up, this is what they're going to see. At the top, they're going to see a warning to install the extension. So they'll go ahead and click on that link, add to Chrome, add the extension, and I will just make sure that I go to the little puzzle piece here and pin that over. This is something that they will for sure want to get pinned. As you can see right now, it's a black and white lightning bolt, but if I go to Superd and I refresh, they will have to do this in order for them to see everything. My lightning bolt becomes our mission control icon, and they will start seeing the tags and the lightning bolts. Another important thing is that all of these process rules or little tags will not, so for example, if someone is not logged in into Superd at all, or if they're using Edge or Safari or any other browser, this is something that they're not going to be able to see. So whenever we're creating process rules, we want to make sure that, for example, in this case, we ask our production coordinator, you will need to use HubSpot on Chrome. It's better overall, but I mean, for the purpose of this and having all the features that we offer, please always make sure that they have Google Chrome. So Joe, that's just the easy way to do it. Just inviting them through Superd and making sure that they accept the invitation with Google and install the extension. And at the top, as you can see, was very easy. If you are enrolling anyone else, you can always message me and I can make sure that I send the invites to everyone and make sure that everyone has access to it. Okay, so I see a comment from Charlie. I'm just thinking through this as, okay, Insight Sales, I want you to follow up with Facebook lead forms using the script that has a comment video with it. So I would want Superd to only be looking at contacts so that they can move them from marketing qualified lead to contact. Yes, Charlie. So what we can do for this is just create a card with an SOP showing them how to look for the look for the Facebook leads. So maybe showing them how to filter through the contacts and asking them, in this situation, this is how you will move them or where you will move them. and basically create an SOP and a video. That's my recommendation. Always do a written SOP with something like Scribe. I actually want to show you one feature that HubSpot has. This I don't recommend for very, very long scripts. I'm sorry, for very long SOPs, but Super has its own SOP creation feature, and it's called guides. So you can come in here. If you guys have used Scribe before, it's pretty much the same, but I recommend this for very short scribes or SOPs because it can become a little bit difficult if it's very, very long scripts. So let's say that I want to do an SOP on how to invite a user to Super. I'm going to start clicking on here, and Super will start recording that. So let's say that I want to use, where is my email? Let's say that I want to invite myself. It's going to show you exactly, so type 1, for example. I type 1 in here on my email, it's gonna record that. You can come in here and edit the Scribe to say any other number, but if you don't want this to keep recording your screen, you can just click on pause, do anything else. So for example, I wanna fill out my first and last name, and I don't want that to record that step. I can come back, click here, make sure that you choose the right user type, invite, and then if you come here, you'll see that it recorded every single step, just as a Scribe will do it. So I recommend that you use this internal guide feature to create those SOPs, Charlie. And then at the same time as you are doing this, you can also record it and add the video as well. And you can also embed these guides into cards. So for example, let's say that I'm finished already and that I want to name this card, how to add a new user to Super. And I want to select my base Super under the folder. I'm going to leave it as no folder, and then I'll just create a new folder and add it, create a guide. And then this is what they will see. You can edit the guide, so if you want to change any of the wording in here, you can also do that, or delete steps that went that were additional and that didn't need it to be there. So this is a free tool, Scribe. I know it's a little bit pricey, but this is just a free way to do it. It's already included on your subscription, so I recommend that you take advantage of that. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. Always add a Scribe and a video. I'm gonna go to the next question. If permit is in a HubSpot object, how do we add that into HubSpot? So Joe, permit, we can create a property under the ticket object. That way you can see it under the ticket pipeline. So you can say order, permit ordered, yes, no, and we can filter. Anytime a permit is set as no or it's empty and it's on this zip code, show the tag, and it will not show it if you already ordered the permit. That makes sense. That's how you can filter through that. And Joe, if you want me to help you with this, let me know. I can build it for you and create those new properties for the permits. And yes, I will be sending the recording of this, and I'll also include it into Super. Now that I think about it, it will be a good thing for you guys to have on your homepage, because you'll be using it forever. So I'll add this webinar to the homepage. I think I have answered all of the questions. If there's not anything else that you guys want to talk about, that was it for me. My email is in there on the chat. So if you guys want to have any projects, very specific projects, book a call with me and I'll help you guys through. But yeah, thank you so much for coming to this webinar, especially in this weird. I hope that you guys had a very nice Christmas, and I'm hoping that you guys have a very, very good new year. Thank you so much for being here with me. I really appreciate all of you. I'll make sure that I send that recording, and you can also find it on your homepage. Bye guys, have a great day.